Hello again everyone, I'm King Blacktooth and welcome to the Exploration Mode Dungeon Guide for Twilight Arbor. This is in the Caledon Forest, is level 55 plus and is about difficulty 7 out of 10. So the first thing we're going to do is make preparations. Party organisation, anyone should do here. Balanced team is always nice. It is still true that heavily armoured classes should be the only ones going melee, because other people get downed a bit too easily. In this dungeon you will find very few waypoints. You will be relying on your initial waypoint for pretty much the entire dungeon. And this dungeon is an anti-graveyard zerging dungeon, so you can't respawn and continually run to the boss. The way they manage this is to have very few waypoints, so you've got a long distance to travel, and there's these things called volatile blossoms which block your path, which are very dangerous to just run through, so it takes a while to clear them out. The next thing I'd say about this dungeon is that it has quite an emphasis on CC. Immobilizing, freezing and stoned are very handy here to keep them in place, because if they don't move it's easier, but chilling, slowing and crippling are very useful as well. And lastly, it takes about 1 hour to complete depending on which route you take and how much difficulty you have. Food is nice and you'll be fighting mostly Nightmare Court, so potions for them or runes are a nice little extra but are not necessary to complete the dungeon. Okay, so although it's not the first thing you'll encounter, I'm going to be talking about which routes you can take now. Now in this dungeon there are 3 routes. Route 1, the Count of Blood, is when you choose up on the first choice. Route 2, the Countess of Spiders, is when you choose forward on the first choice and up on the second choice. And Route 3, the Countess of Obedience, is when you choose forward on both choices. Now Route 1, the Count of Blood, is because you fight the Count of Blood at the end. Some people like to call this the Spiders route. That's more slang because you will encounter quite a lot of spiders here. Route 2, the Countess of Spiders, can also be called the B route. Okay, now, I don't know what number 3 is called, Obedience route all the time. But I choose this naming method because they're the ones you fight at the end. Now in terms of difficulty, the easiest is Route 1, up. The intermediate is Route 2, forward and then up, and then the hardest route is forward, forward. So if you're going to farm the dungeon, I would recommend going for Route 1 first, then Route 2, and if you've got time, Route 3, because obviously the different routes you take now gives you more blossoms if you vary your routes. Okay, so we're going to talk about trash and traps first. Traps is the first thing I'm going to go over. Is volatile blossoms. They're going to be one of the first things you encounter. They're placed throughout the dungeon in little chunks, sections. This is to stop your graveyard zerging. They explode in a poison cloud, which is quite painful when you get close to it, and have a tendency to become obstructed to direct attacks, which is very annoying since you can have some really good attacks which will kill 3 of them, but they just get obstructed, which is a pain, so be careful of that. Guardian staff auto attacks, Wave of Wrath, are very good for clearing blossoms since they just blast anything in front of them and they can just basically run through and not have to worry about them. So a staff auto attack for Guardians is very good. They have approximately 10-second respawn timer, and previous blossoms in a section disappear after that section's boss has been defeated. Okay, partially through Route 2 or the B route you will encounter some bees which will one-shot you. You will have to jump inside this little water and apply some sap. This will turn you invisible, and then you have to run the gauntlet of water. Now the water takes your stealth off you, like so. But even if you don't get it perfect like I have, you can use your utility skills if you apply them beforehand to help you get through it. So I use Mistform there, you can use teleportation, other people can res you when it's finished, so just apply yourself to that. One thing that I've heard is that if you continue on with 3 or 4 people, that the bees will disappear when you activate the next little section. Okay? I can't believe I died there. Hopefully it'll res me. So now we're going to talk about trash. There's a lot of trash in this dungeon. So the first ones are Nightmare Hounds. These are going to be the first ones you encounter. They usually travel in packs and they can pounce on allies, incapacitating them, and it's pretty deadly. Against squishier ones anyway. The main thing you want to do is just focus on them, CC, AoE them. Your biggest trouble when fighting a group of these is that you will be surrounded by volatile blossoms quite often, so you have to be careful about their respawn times, which is about 10 seconds-ish. The next thing you'll encounter is a big worm called Nightmare Vines. These spit several small poison AoEs which are very damaging, usually at far range classes I find. They spread erratically and they're pretty hard to avoid completely. Okay, you'll get clipped by one or two every now and then, it seems. If you're fighting multiple nightmare vines at the same time and you're personally getting targeted, then it's probably best for you to move away from everyone else, or everyone else move away from you, and so they'll keep firing at you and you're just going to distract them and try and survive. Okay? Other than that, you basically just need to focus them down and then move on to the next one. They do have a small melee AoE knockback, but it's not too painful and it's easy to avoid. So the next thing you'll fight are Nightmare Court. These are Sylvari enemies and they come in a range of types. This is the order you want to dispatch them at. Knights are the most destructive because they have a knockdown combo where they leap at targets, your allies of course, and they do like an AoE knockdown, which is very painful, and then they keep slamming on you. So the main thing you want to do is spread out and CC these. You want to CC them with Immobilize, Freeze and Stone primarily, so they don't move at all, and preferably so they can't do anything, but then obviously you won't have enough to keep them there forever, so slowing is very important as well. So the next ones you want to get rid of are Duelists. Now these teleport to members. They're less destructive than Knights, but they are quite annoying, so you want to CC these so they don't run rampant against your squishier classes, and then just take them down after there's no more Knights. After which you've got Sorceresses, which have an AoE Fear, which isn't too bad, but it is quite annoying while other enemies still remain. This can be broken quite easily though if you've got a condition breaking skill like that. And then just take out the cultists and the archers, which are the lowest threat. Okay, and after that you've also got Nightmare Court Wardens. Now these are quite rare. You've got two variations, one which is a silver mob and one that's a gold mob. The silver mob has a knockdown combo, you can see it under their little health bar, and these wardens act like knights, so they're very dangerous. You want to stay out of range and CC them till they're dead. Now the second variation, the gold mob, is harder to kill, but he doesn't have the knockdown combo the other one has. So just CC them nonetheless and kill them. They only come in like ones or twos. Okay, and the next trash you'll fight are spiders. These are undergrowth variations. This is the order you want to kill them at. Stone Touch is the worst. It paralyzes members for about 3 seconds, it's unbreakable and you can't do anything. So the Undergrowth Webber, he immobilizes members for 3 seconds, but this is breakable, so it's not as important. Bloodfang drains life, it just seems to be a bit of a filler. Recluse poisons, just a bit of a filler mob as well. And hatchlings normally accompany the larger mobs, but just CC and AoE those down. So any mobs that I haven't mentioned are usually very easy to kill, so that's why I haven't done so. So the very first boss you will fight is Nightmare Vines. Now the first thing I should mention is that you may notice that there are volatile blossoms covering the entire battlefield. You must destroy these around the vines that you're fighting and watch out for respawns. If you're using AoE to kill the vines, which as an elementalist with a staff I pretty much am all the time, there's a high chance you'll catch one as it's growing before it gets set off, so that's pretty cool. But don't forget that on single target attacks they can get obstructed, so be very careful about that. Okay, so the main premise is that you've got to kill 6 Nightmare Vine mobs and a Nightmare Vine boss, but they act the same, it's just a bigger version. So the first one appears as you approach alone and it doesn't get aggroed until you choose to go into it, okay? So this will probably be a good place to discuss positioning when you're fighting against these Nightmare Vines. Now all active vines shoot out small painful AoE circles quite erratically, so your best bet is to spread apart. If you're personally being targeted by all the vines that are active, I recommend just distancing yourself from the rest of the group. Just distract them, avoid them and try and survive so that the other people can do damage unhindered. They seem to prefer to shoot at long-ranged people, so the melee area does seem quite safe and you should head there if you're not being targeted by anything. After you've killed number 1, number 2 and number 3 spawn in roughly this location. Now you want to just focus on one and then go on to the next one. And don't forget that you will have 2 sets of AoE pain circles appearing, so you have to be careful a lot about this. After each next one is killed, so number 2 is dead, another one will spawn. Okay, and when number 3 is dead, 5th one will spawn. After number 4 is dead, the 6th one will spawn. And after you killed the 5th one, the boss will spawn. Okay, in the center, a big worm. So what you want to do then is kill the last one, the 6th one, and then all on the boss. Now the boss is the same as the other ones. It's also got a melee AoE knockdown, which is more visible because the other ones have it too. but occasionally spawns another vine which you should jump on, kill it as fast as possible, and then back on the boss. And when the boss gets to about 20% health, it'll spawn another 2 vines. Now it's best to just ignore these and DPS the boss until he's dead, and then claim your loot. Okay, and as with all bosses, I will be showing gameplay after I've done these title card thingamajigs. Okay, so there's the first one. I choose to attack it from there and then move up onto this rock. It's not targeting me, which is good, because then I get to use all my AoE as fast as possible. I used my Conjure Frostbow to freeze the worm so it wasn't spitting as much. Okay, because it can be quite painful for the range. I think the ranged people have a lot harder job here than the melee people do, because he's not even targeting the melee. Now you may get the second worm at the back there targeting the melee, but they seem to target ranged people a lot more often. If you just attack them once, they'll attack the ranged people. So he's not targeting me, so I'm running into melee range, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm doing everything I can. After we killed the second one, a fourth one did spawn, so there it is. We just killed the third one, so there's the fifth one in the right hand corner. Okay, so we're starting to get blossoms appearing, and I can't kill them quickly, but a good tip is if you get down there, as you saw, is you just target a blossom, you can kill it and revive straight away. So it's a very good tip. If you get down, look for a blossom to destroy. You can only do it like 3 times in a short period of time though. So we're heading up into this little ledge here so we can get a better vantage point, because they weren't targeting us, but then they start to, and so I'm trying to escape and get some health back. So we've nearly killed that one, so the boss has spawned now because we're on the last one, the 6th one. So we just did an AoE knockdown thing there, as you can see. But we all just roll out, and then the melee people go back in anyway. Okay, so how are we doing? There's one person down, so I'm going to try and revive him. So it's all on the boss now, since we've killed all the rest. And it's the same as all the others. It just does the AoE circles, quite far range usually, and an AoE knockdown for melee people. Soon we'll get another Nightmare Vine spawn, there it is, so everyone should turn off it and start attacking that one to get it down as fast as possible. I freeze it again to make sure it doesn't do as much spitting. Okay, so it seems to be targeting me. There's quite a few people down, but I have used my resurrecting skill already, which is a really good skill to use in dungeons. I may have told you it before. The Glyph of Renewal as an elementalist. It revives 3 people if you're on Earth, and it revives them full health, which I think is a glitch, because that should be reserved for water. But it also revives them from death, which I don't think is a glitch, and that's what I love about it. If they're dead, I can still revive them, which is amazing. Okay, another one's popped up, so we kill that as fast as possible. If you die at this particular point and wipe completely, then these Nightmare Vines will still be present, so you have to be careful about that. Okay, after this one's dead, we should all be going on the boss, and it's got about 30% left, so at 20% we'll see another 2 Nightmare Vines appear. But we've got to ignore them as fast as possible. Okay, there they are, the 2 Nightmare Vines. That's about 20%, is it? And so now it's all on the boss as much as possible. Trying to avoid these little circles is very difficult. I'm very weak, so I don't get much chance. Okay, so that's that first boss done. So the first boss you'll fight on the first route is Malrona, and it's not just about the boss but how you approach it. As you approach the area, you'll get clumps of spider trash, which you can just dispatch as they come, but make sure you head in slowly. And after you've killed the final piece of trash, Malrona will spawn, but she won't aggro. Okay, when you choose to engage her, she's got several moves. She's got several large AoE circle which she fires. They're very painful, but not too hard to avoid. If you stay at max range, then she can't reach you with them. Her next move is to shoot a poison cone in front of her, which is very painful as well, but not too hard to avoid either. Apart from that, that's all she's got, so you just want to CC her quite a bit to keep her from running around a lot. She does like to skitter around. Okay, so we're just finishing off the trash here before Malrona spawns. I think this is the last one, a Weber. Okay, now she's spawned, as you can see in the top right, and there she is. So when you choose to engage her, which we did after a little bit of talking, you'll see that we're trying to CC her quite a bit, keep her from moving around. She moves around very fast, and she seems to jump from person to person. She just did a poison cone to that person and she's nearly dead, and then she caught us both with her AoE poison. And as you can see, her AoE poison there was quite easily seeable and avoidable at that particular time. And apart from that, it's basically just the same fight throughout the entire thing. Just try and avoid her AoE poison and her cone poison. Now, the melee there can seemingly take the cone poison in his stride. He does require a little bit of healing every now and then. He seems to go in for melee and then retreat, so get some healing while we CC him down and such, and then I heal him and such and stuff like that. Didn't quite work out there, but he seems to be on me, so that's why I'm not healing him. I decided to try and drag him away. Okay, I got caught by that poison. It's no big deal. And so that's pretty much the fight. So I'm gonna stop talking now until the next fight. Okay, so the next boss you'll encounter is Fyonna. This is on Route 1, the Count of Blood, or the Spiders route as people like to call it. Now, as you approach the room, some talking will happen. You'll see there's tons and tons of spider eggs covering the entire room. Now, when players touch them, they hatch, releasing a silver mob. So you want to avoid these at all costs, even after the fight is over, because they don't deactivate or anything like that. The way to fight Fyonna, the easiest way, is to just pull her into the tunnel, because then you don't have to worry about the eggs at all. Occasionally she'll pull a member towards her, and she'll switch from her human form into a giant spider and back, but that's no trouble at all. And occasionally spawn 3 hatchlings around back party members, but that's no trouble at all either. So apart from that, she's a very easy boss if you pull her into the tunnel. If you don't want to pull her into the tunnel, then I possibly recommend running in there, clearing a little area out, by touching some eggs while she's talking, and then when you've cleared a little area out, just start killing her as usual, basically. So at this particular time we had some undergrowth ones still hatched, so we had to kill those first before we actually started to take on Fyonna. A little bit harder, we didn't mind. Now, the reason we've got all these extra ads, whereas you wouldn't normally have them, is because the first time we tried, we ran in to the centre where she's standing and tried to fight her there, so we opened up quite a few eggs here and there. And when you lose and wipe or whatever, the spiders from the eggs don't reset. So we've got to kill all these extra spiders, then kill Fyonna. But she's at the bottom of the stairs there, or nearly. After these spiders are done, we're going to pull her back up. So there she is. So now we just basically focus on her from the back. She's done some spiders behind us, but that's no problem. They seem to kill themselves, these spiders. They run up to you, attack you and die, and emit a little bit of poison, as you can see, but it's not a big deal. The poison is negligible, and you can easily get rid of it. Just I get rid of everyone's ailments when I switch to water attunement, because I've traded that way. Okay, and so basically it's just tank and spank from here on in. Just fight her a lot and that's it. So now I'm going to stop talking until the next section. So the last boss you're going to fight is the Nightmare Tree with the Count of Blood. This is what it looks like, or well, it's not exactly what it looks like. This is a representation of what it will look like when you enter. You'll be in this particular spot here. Now, for position wise, you just want to stay here for the entire fight. Melee should go ranged, as it's a lot easier as well. Now the boss summons turret plants and healing buds. Healing buds are represented by triangles, and turret plants represented by circles in this instance. Now you just want to kill the ones within range of you, the ones that are annoying you. Okay, so turrets that annoy you, kill them. Most of them shouldn't attack you if they're at the back. So when he spawns more, they've got a chance of spawning at the back. and so then they're not bothering you at all. And there's seemingly a limited amount that you can spawn, so if they're round the back, then there's no harm done. So that's the whole thing about this thing. You just destroy the ones that are bothering you, and when you go around the back, just forget about them. Even the healing buds don't really heal them that much. You can easily out DPS it, so you don't have to worry about those at all. Now the only move he's actually got, apart from that, is occasionally erupt some roots at your feet, which are easily seeable beforehand, and you can dodge and then just return back to your normal position. So apart from that, it's the easiest route cleared. Well done. Okay, so we're waiting for Laurent to combine with the tree, the nightmare tree, and then we just get ready to AoE him down as fast as possible. Because at this particular point, there's some nightmare roots you just saw. At this particular point, you get a couple of seconds of free AoE without having to worry about anything else. And I can't believe that person linked that. It's a piece of crap, and it also stops me from what is it? Aiming with my AoE stuff. Okay, so that mortar is quite close, and we've got some more roots there, so we got rid of that one. As you can see in the top left, there's quite a few mortars and healing buds around there, but they're not really bothering us at all. Apart from that, I think that's about it. There's no more healing buds or turrets appearing near us. Got some roots again. Okay, it seems like he's not summoning anymore, or if he is, they're coming at the back. This is what I said about seemingly a limited amount can spawn at one time. Okay, so it's a very simple fight. Although I do like the nightmare tree. I think it looks really cool. I like to take this particular opportunity on this fight to just have a mess around, change some skills up, you know, have a little fun and see what other moves can do, because you don't really need to concentrate on this fight apart from the roots. As someone said, he's going AFK to make dinner, which I think was a joke. I hope it was a joke. Okay, so he's nearly dead now, and we've got some more roots again. Back to position. Okay, and now the nightmare tree's dead. So that was the entire fight on the first route. It's very easy. And there you go. But as you can see, there's tons and tons of turrets at the back here. So that's the whole point of just staying at the entrance. Okay, on route 2, the Countess of Spiders, or the B route as some people like to call it, the first boss you'll fight is the Defiler. Now I'm not even going to do title cards for this one because it's so easy of a boss. He'll have two ads next to him, these husks, and the boss itself. Just want to take the ads off first, and they're pretty easy in themselves. You do want to be careful of these blossoms around because you are fighting them in a blossomy area, but it's not too difficult. You want to be careful of these flame touched husks. They seem to throw fire AoE, which isn't too hard to avoid. And after you've got both of them down, it's all onto the boss. Okay, now for the Defiler, he's very simple. All he seems to do is summon bees, give some people a debuff, which is called bees, and to get rid of it, it does slow damage to you. And to get rid of it, you just have to roll, and that's all you have to do. Okay. So I'll tell you when I get it or whatever. So there was a blossom there. You have to be careful of that. Obstructed. Okay, so I need to change to fire because that's the only one that seems to work for me. Apart from water, that takes 2 hits. So fire is the one I've got to go to for that. Okay, so as you can see, he's not doing much. Nobody's taking really any damage. It looks like the Necromancer at the top has the bee thing, and we don't know about it, but it's still easy to heal through. There, I think I've got the bees, that one that's about to fade off. But that's about it really. You can dodge to get rid of that, but it goes off after a short period of time. There we go. I've just figured out what it was, so that was amazing. But apart from that, the boss is very easy. And what am I about apart from that? The boss is very easy. Okay, and the second boss you'll fight is Fyonna. This is just a Slavari woman, and I'm not going to do title cards for her either, because she's very easy. Now when you encounter her, they'll have 2 flame touched husks, or Nightmare Husk, sorry, and they'll be fighting Laurent as well as her. So you should jump in whenever you feel like it, and kill the 2 ads and then all focus on her. The ads, they don't do much, I don't know what they do, we killed them so fast. I think just an AoE knockdown when they get close, a melee AoE knockdown. And when you fight Fyonna, all she's got is she teleports around quite often, which is a little bit annoying, and she applies Confusion, but that's not too painful. Just stop attacking if you're worried about it. And she does Chaos Storm, that kind of purpley stuff that I failed to avoid. So that's pretty much all you have to look out for, is the Chaos Storm. Apart from that, she's a very easy boss. She just teleports around a lot, so you have to constantly be looking out for where she's going to be positioned. So I'm going to cut out most of this fight because it's not necessary. So she's nearly dead now. Good, good. Okay, so oh, she's still alive. She just teleported away. Okay, now she's going to be dead. There is one thing that we did try, but it didn't seem to make any difference. Is that when you enter the fight, she's fighting Laurent, and then we waited for her to kill him, and then we joined in. But the second time we went in, we tried to save him, and we did actually save him. He's still on a quarter health there. Your cutscene after you saved him doesn't change. Your Morrigu, she still wants to bury Laurent, even though he's here, and I don't know how you feel about that. So saving him doesn't seem to do anything. Just so you know. Okay, and the final boss on this particular route is the Nightmare Tree with the Countess of Spiders. Now the positioning is the same as the previous one, just stay at the entrance. It's a little bit more difficult though. This Nightmare Tree will summon spider ads, spider hatchlings which shoot poison similar to Ascalonian catacomb spiders, and undergrowth silver mobs. So they're the types of spiders she'll spawn. For the hatchlings, you want to kill them occasionally when they're starting to become a bit troublesome. When you see one, it's maybe good to just kill it and then back onto the boss. Having one member clearing out all the little hatchlings is a pretty good idea, I'd say. When a silver one turns up, everyone should focus on it and kill it. So apart from that, that's pretty much the entire boss fight. You'll want to just attack the boss as much as you can, but don't get overwhelmed with spiders. You want to clear the hatchlings regularly and clear the silver mobs as soon as you see them. Okay, so here we are at the entrance, and this is where we're going to stay. We're going to stay here. So we all start attacking the boss, and the same as the previous one, you get a couple of seconds of free damage here before he starts summoning anything. So I see a spider start spitting poison, and so I start taking them out pretty quick. They can take you down pretty fast if you're not careful. So I take it upon myself to try and clear spiders when I see them. And other characters should do it too. No one should be solely on the boss if people are struggling. And now he's summoned a silver mob, which is a recluse, so they're the poison ones. So we just kill them as fast as possible. But there are some spots where we start getting a bit overwhelmed, but we always manage to pull it back. Apart from the spiders, you don't have to worry about anything else. He doesn't do anything else. I just saw a root there, but I never saw any AoE. It didn't do any damage to anyone, so that's a bit weird. Okay, some spiders to the left of me, spiders to the right of me, cannons to the left of me. Okay, so the Nightmare Tree is on half health, and we've got some more silver mobs this time, so it's time to take them out. Take them out of the game. So this is the part where, as I said, it looked like we were getting a bit overwhelmed. Everyone seems to be on very high health, so it didn't seem that bad. But it could easily turn bad if you're not careful. Okay, the silver mobs seem to be down, or there's one more left. Okay, that's going down pretty fast, although it is double speed. So it's going down half the speed as that, or whatever that is. Okay, so extra spiders. How much health? He didn't go down much during that escapade, probably because we were concentrating on spiders. But that's pretty much it. I'm getting hit by spiders again. They seem to have come back a bit. As you can see, we're putting down a lot of healing areas and everyone's standing in it. So it's really good to just stay here rather than wander around so you're not healing and you get caught by spiders and stuff like that. Okay, this is another part where it looked like we were getting a bit overwhelmed. But we pulled it back, as you always do. But as I've said at the beginning of the video, if you die at this particular point, you've got a very long run back. So if you die here, it may be best to try and wait for a res. I mean, like I said, I can resurrect people that are completely dead using my glyph of renewal. I don't know if other classes can do it, but you have got a very long run back with blossoms here and there, so it would take a while. If someone died now, you just might as well wait. Okay, and so now we're just focusing all on the boss because he's nearly dead, and he is dead. And then we kill all the spiders. Okay, so on route 3, the Countess of Obedience, this is the hardest route, although this first boss isn't very hard at all. It's the Elite Guard. I'm not going to do title cards for this because it's quite easy. Now when you enter into the room, there'll be one archer in each corner, protected by a force field. Okay? Now the archers are the weakest of all the trash, and these are no different. Now if you walk into the bubble, then you die, pretty much just like I have. The way you get around this is all these orange glowing things are portals. You enter in one and you come out a different one. Now where you come out is based on the cog in the minimap. So if you look on the minimap, there's a cog and it changes places throughout. So the place it lands on is where you will come out when you enter one. Okay? So ranged people can shoot through the bubble, but any melee people will have to use the teleportation system to get behind a bubble, or you can maybe teleport through. I know there was a guardian that did so, but you can use these portals. Okay, I came out the wrong one because the cog hadn't turned, but then I went in again and it's gone behind the bubble. There's no big deal about going behind here. They're pretty weak, these archers. That's what makes it so easy. Okay, the second boss on this route is Laurent, the Count of Blood. Now this one is a very difficult fight. Now what makes it difficult is that the fight itself is against Laurent and 3 Nightmare Court Knights. And now Nightmare Court Knights are the hardest trash mobs because of their knockdown combo, and it's really hard to CC 3 Nightmare Court Knights at the same time. Okay, so the main thing you want to do here is pull the group, because they'll all come at you, but you want to pull them back so far that you try and leash off one, you know, get some to reset, get one to pull back, and then kill one, and then kill another one, and then kill another one, and then until you've only got Laurent left. Okay, so we're pulling them back, killing a lot of them. Some of them are starting to walk back. Even the one we're fighting is starting to walk back, but then we just freeze him, and then he comes back to us and stuff, starts flipping around at someone else. So if any of them start walking back, you can start freezing them, immobilising them, slowing them, and you can still attack them. And then when they come out of, say, their freeze, they'll start attacking you again. And so we've got a second one here as well, so we were fighting 2 at that particular point. And this one seems a little bugged, he's not doing anything, so that's cool. I don't mind, I don't mind. Okay, and there's some blossoms near these enemies, but you shouldn't be fighting them up there anyway. So we've got 1 Nightmare Court left, and Laurent. So we pull them. I begin to CC them as much as possible. Immobilisation and slowing. Freeze and everything. Everything you've got. Okay. Laurent starts to walk back, but then he starts to come back and he doesn't know where he's going. I think he's fighting the NPC. But she normally dies in every fight, so you don't have to worry about her. So now you've only got Laurent left, and he's pretty dangerous. You probably just want to CC him down with slows and stuff. He's not too difficult else. He can knock you down and you have to res him, but it's not a big problem when he's on his own. So it's not too difficult after you've cleared all the Nightmare Court. So yeah, just pull them, try and get them one by one and stuff like that. So I'm going to stop talking until the next part.
show me the way. I loved him once, more than I love anyone in this world.
Okay, after you've finished Laurent, you have the Nightmare Tree immediately after, and this one is with the Countess of Obedience. Now this is the hardest Nightmare Tree out of all of them. You can't just stand in the doorway on this one, you need to move around a lot. The boss summons veteran oak hearts, which are those big tree things which immobilize you with binding roots, okay? They're similar to if you saw them outside of this dungeon. So she'll summon about 3 of them, maybe 4. What you'll need to do is break free of the immobilization or attack the roots to break them. Now, I had trouble auto-attacking my own roots, and so did some of the other party members, so you either have to use AoE or attack each other's roots, or break it using a utility skill, okay? A good tip is that if you get downed by one of these veteran oak hearts, you want to seek out a binding root to kill while you're in a down state, because you can kill them very easily and then you'll rally. Okay, so there's a good tip for you. So what you need to do is just CC these oak hearts and kite them around a lot whilst focusing on the boss. That's all you need to do. I do immensely suggest you take utility skills which break stun, which cause CC, which rally several team members at once while on the move. Okay, stability is pretty decent as well. So any of these are very useful during this fight because you want to be focusing all on the boss and not have to worry about your binding roots as much. Now, you won't normally get these veteran oak hearts at the beginning like we have here, but it's because we failed once that they didn't respawn, so we have to fight them as well as the boss. So we're at a disadvantage on this particular video, but it's because we failed at one particular time, okay? Because if you enter to begin with, and the first time, you actually do get a few seconds worth of damage on the boss before he starts spawning any veteran oak hearts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start damaging them as fast as possible, start CCing them, because we're going to get rid of these oak hearts before we start on the boss, which you won't have to do at this particular point, okay? So the NPC is dead already? Wow, okay. So he seems to have spawned another one immediately, so now we're all going on the boss. It's time to start CCing. Okay, so he spawned one there. So we've done binding roots, I can't attack it myself. So I did my AoE. Break my stun and move away. Need to start CCing these people. I choose to freeze the veteran oak heart with my Conjure Frostbow. I res some people there, which is nice. Nice of me, isn't it? You can always damage the veteran oak hearts whilst AoEing the boss if he's near, but I think as soon as one dies he spawns another one, but yeah, it's up to you. You might as well damage them both if you can. Okay, so I got spawned again. I'm trying to destroy my own root. I had to use AoE again. Okay, I can't see because of the trees. Okay, so I'm down. Yeah. So I use the chance while I'm down to root one of these veteran oak hearts to the floor so I can help my teammates. It seems like they're not coming after me, which is giving me a good chance to get back up. Since... ah, what? Okay, I can attack my own roots there, I think, using my AoE down skill. Okay, so they're all after me, or a lot of them are, so I'm CCing them quite a bit. Oh, okay, that's bad. There we go. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, as much AoE as I can. Okay, I'm down. I'm looking for... oh, I got rezzed. I think someone destroyed a root. I can't revive that person because I've used my skill. 20 seconds though, and then I'll be able to revive him. So, immobilizing still. That's pretty much what it's all about. Just do as much CC as you can whilst doing as much damage as you can to the boss. Okay, so I'm looking for a binding root. It's a bit out of my range though, which is a shame. But someone's rezzing me, so that's nice. Okay, so how much has the boss got? He's only on half health. We've got a long way to go. A seriously long way. But we're all on full health. We're all still here, I think, aren't we? No, I think one person's respawned. That's a shame. Okay, more binding roots attack when you're on low health. Okay, this oak heart's nearly dead, so I'm taking this opportunity to try and catch him with a bit of my AoE, which I think I did, and I got caught because I couldn't move out of this vine. So as you can see, I'm getting caught quite a bit. I'm going to resurrect this person using my skill. Okay, so now I haven't got any on me, which is really good, because when I haven't got any on me, I get the chance to use a lot of stationary, powerful AoE. Personally, anyway. I'm not bothering to get this one off me because I'm not being chased. Ooh, how dare he? Okay, I'm not getting him off me. Okay, decided to because he started walking at me. CC, that's better. And now I've got some opening again. I'm going to do some damage on the boss. Okay, how's the boss doing? Oh, he's dead. And so am I. But that's good enough. So that is Twilight Arbor, all 3 routes. It's not as difficult as Ascalonian Catacombs, but it was quite fun. I think some of the bosses could be improved. Defiler, Malrona, Vivina maybe. So thank you for watching, and I hope it helped if you needed help. I've been King Blacktooth. I've still been King Blacktooth.